Welcome to the Mortgage Foundations podcast, where we are here to guide you through the ins and outs of the mortgage world. Get ready to unravel the complexities and gain a solid understanding of everything you need to know about mortgages. Whether you're a first-time homebuyer or a seasoned homeowner, we've got you covered with expert insights and tips. Let's dive into the fascinating world of mortgages together. In today's episode, Tyler Cowell, the principal broker of Mortgage Foundations, SRA number 13614, will discuss the difference between a cosigner and a guarantor.
When applying for a mortgage, the need for a cosigner or a guarantor may arise in order for a lender to mitigate risk and assist with the potential homeowner qualifying for the mortgage. Although cosigners and guarantors have many similarities, there are important factors that do set the two apart. It is important to mention that before agreeing to be a cosigner or a guarantor, it is highly recommended to obtain independent legal advice and ensure your interests are protected and you are aware of the risks involved and your potential exposure to future litigation. On top of this, it is recommended to perform your own due diligence and gauge whether or not the person or people you are co-signing or guaranteeing are capable and willing to protect your interests as well as their own. It is most common that a cosigner or a guarantor is direct family member or close associate. However, technically anyone can cosign or guarantee a mortgage for anyone else as long as the lender agrees. Interesting to note that many mortgages already have a cosigner in the form of a spouse or someone else who will be residing in the property. On a mortgage application, there is one primary borrower and everyone else is a cosigner. A cosigner and a guarantor are essentially used to arrive at the same result, which is getting the primary borrower approved for a mortgage as their credit history or income may be limited, and the lender requires someone else to provide some strength to the file. The differences between the two are mainly focused around ownership and timing of liability in the event of non-payment. When you cosign for a mortgage, you are as responsible as the primary borrower, and you will be held accountable for 100% of the payments. If the mortgage is with a lender that reports to Equifax or TransUnion, the mortgage will also show on your credit bureau, as will the history of payments, including any late payments or defaults. Having the mortgage listed on your credit bureau can also limit your ability to obtain credit yourself in the future. A cosigner also becomes part owner of the property for as little as 1%, and they are required to be listed on title along with the primary borrower. Their immediate liability in the event of a missed payment is due to the fact that they are a part owner of the property. As a co-owner, you have full ownership rights and can have access to equity in the property. A typical cosigner is usually a spouse or an immediate family member or someone else that will be residing in the property. It is quite common to see parents co-signing for their children to be able to purchase their first home. When it comes to being a guarantor, you are still responsible for the mortgage. However, only after all other avenues have been taken for the lender to collect against the primary borrower. This would include the power of sale and foreclosure processes. A guarantor does not take any ownership of the property and is not listed on title. This means that they have no ownership rights or access to any equity in the property. Having someone as a guarantor can also protect the property itself from being exposed as an asset of the guarantor should they face litigation on their own. Since they are not on title, their own potential troubles won't affect the primary borrowers. Even though a guarantor is listed on the mortgage, it may be unlikely to see the mortgage on their credit bureau based on their responsibility being deferred from every mortgage payment to final collection. This helps to protect a guarantor's credit score and history from the primary borrower missing payments. Even though the mortgage may not show on your credit bureau, it is important to disclose the responsibility to future lenders so they are aware of your potential exposure. Not every lender allows the use of a guarantor, and it is important that your mortgage broker confirms which lenders do allow them before getting too far in the process. The decision to be a cosigner or guarantor for anyone should not be taken lightly, and it is important to understand that it may not be a short-term option, especially if the primary borrower does not strengthen their own situation. Even when it is possible to be removed from the mortgage or from title, there may be costs, penalties, and legal fees incurred in order for it to happen. Agreeing up front on who is responsible for this is recommended and should be agreed to with the help of a lawyer. In conclusion, the main differences between being a cosigner or a guarantor are found in the structure of ownership and the timing of liability in the event of the primary borrower not making their payments. Both methods have their pros and cons, and it is important to ensure you have obtained independent legal advice before agreeing to be either for another person.
In today's episode, we explained what a cosigner is and what a guarantor is, and how they are different from each other, and when one might be used in place of the other. We hope you found today's episode informative, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button to stay updated for our next episode. Thank you for tuning in to Mortgage Foundations. And remember, every home starts with a foundation. Your mortgage should too.